Just a little callback. What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Ouchcast. As Enrique fucks with his microphone.
Yes, because you just wanted to get it started fast without letting me set up.
That's what she said.
That's right.
And joining us is our buddy Robert's back in the studio. Hey, say hello, Robert.
Hello, Robert. How's it going, guys?
Trying to act cool with his glasses on. In reality, it's just
I don't
'cause
like my eyes.
He has Bruno Mars eyes, so he tries to hide them.
Too much. Yeah.
How you guys doing?
Great. Enrique?
I'm good, but wait a minute. Bruno Mars eyes? What does that mean?
Have you ever noticed that Bruno Mars always wears glasses because he has like really funky like fried egg eyes?
No, I've never noticed that. Now I will, though.
Yeah, he always wears glasses, and then he's all smooth and cool and stuff. The minute he takes them off, he has like those weird puffy fried eyes look.
Does he?
So does Bono,
Yeah, so does Bono. But Bono has a condition though.
Yeah, he has that condition.
He has a condition.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Now I'm seeing... Yeah,
But
Bruno
wait a
Mars.
minute. So Bono as well?
Bono has a condition in his eyes too.
Yeah, and how does that end up looking out?
I think they're like beady. His are like really beady and like lifeless.
Beady and lifeless. That's funny. So I'm trying to look up Bruno Mars eyes, and all I see is pictures of him with his shirt off. Like that.
Why are you looking at other guys' eyes for, man?
Because I want to see like this. I like this jaundice that he's talking about.
This was a jaundice.
That's what it is, isn't it? Like that. Like when people have like eyes that are kind of yellowish, and it's like jaundice. It's,
Yeah, but I didn't say he had yellow eyes. I said he had fried egg eyes, like just the puffiness around it looks like a fried egg, not because they're yellow.
Ooh, they're kind of yellow. I'm sorry that I have the clinical term for it.
I'm
Whatever.
sorry.
Whatever you want to call it, fried eggs.
Whatever, bitch.
I strive for truth, and
Okay,
facts.
Trump, how you doing?
Oh,
What's new with you?
Here we go. Politics now.
No politics. On this episode, no politics.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Like that's gonna happen.
Yeah, right. How you been, dude? How's the front with the classes and stuff?
With the classes.
Yeah.
I was saying off air. I'm dealing with a lot of behaviors and stuff without getting specifics.
Yeah.
I think I'm burnt out.
That bad, huh?
Yeah, but, that's the job.
And then you guys
Job.
you guys cannot have like a vacation or like personal days or anything, huh?
No, we do. Well, I get 2 personal days, and then I have like 246 sick hours. I could use sick hours, I guess, technically, and I can call it like mental health days.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just like the teacher next door to me. She is always telling me like, well, just call out, and I'm like, okay,
That easy, huh?
yeah. I mean, I don't know, because then who's going to do the work that he's doing? And I can tell you that every day I fall farther and farther behind on stuff. It's honest. It's depressing crap when I think about it. So I try not to think about it. But yeah,
And your new TAs can't pick up the slack, huh?
they do what they can, man. They
Yeah.
do what they can. They do what they can. I do have some good teachers' aides. At least there's one who's been with me for a few years, and she's great. She stepped up because remember I recently lost one who was moved to another classroom in the beginning of the school year, and
Yeah.
I lost another one over the Christmas break that moved on to another job.
Oh, boy.
And both of them we had a stellar team because of it. So now the third one, she's stepping in, like helping me out with like paperwork and stuff, and she's great. She's doing the very best she can, but it's just us two, and we have 2 new TAs, and one of them is turning out to be good, and there's a lot of potential, and I think it's going to be good in the long run. And then I have another one who is not really there yet, and so I need a lot of. I work really hard.
Yeah. No, I know.
I left here last night at 7:30.
I know. I've been getting calls from you really late at night.
Yeah, and then,
And you sound defeated.
I think I'm under the weather. Like I've been losing my voice like all week. Well, since last week actually. I don't know, something's been going on around lately, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone's getting sick.
There's been some like illnesses and flu stuff going around.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, that's it. And I got no time for life.
Oh, I didn't do the pop.
What pop?
Those loudmouths, when you get them, they go.
Really?
Yeah, but I didn't do it. It's done. You can't do it no more.
I mean, well,
It just went poof.
I mean, I've been drinking from it for a while though. I got that up.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, well, the first pop is great.
Although I could.
Oh no, no, dude, no.
There.
Oh, that's why I said don't.
You feel better?
Oh, that's it.
That's okay. Whatever.
No, clean it up. No.
These keyboards are like super self-contained, which is cool. Like you can drop stuff on it and it won't really
It starts glitching out.
Yeah, right. It won't damage the keys.
Well, while he's cleaning, Babo, how you been?
Great.
How's life?
It's going.
It's going. It's going.
It's going, man. It's busy, working, living. Yeah, man.
How's the little one?
Growing. He's going through that Edgar phase.
Yeah, we were talking off air, Enrique, earlier when you were late. We were talking about how like the kids now and
Man.
how it's a little different than our days. I mean, every generation says the same thing of the previous generation. I know that my parents said the same thing about us 90 kids. They were like, these kids, whatever. And my sister's an 80s teen, so she even saw it too. Like, oh, these 90s kids are different. But like now seeing it as a father and, so removed so many years from being a teenager and seeing the teenagers now, it's funny to me how they're mostly uniformed now. Like they're all have the same look, the same walk, the same haircut, the same everything. Where I'm like when I go pick up Isaac Isaac's not here. When I go pick up Isaac from school, I have a hard time seeing which one's him. I'm like, oh, is Isaac that? Oh, that's not him. Is that it? Oh, wait, because they all have that same. I call it broccoli head.
Yeah, I call it. Like I told you, where my son's he was on the high school soccer team, and yeah, like they all have the same haircut. We went to the game, and my wife thought that our son was on the field playing. To find out, like, oh no, that's not him. It's another kid. They all have the same haircut. The only way we can tell if it's our kid or not is by the color of his cleats. He's the only one that has like these yellow bright cleats. But
hopefully no one else buys those cleats.
Yeah, exactly. Or else that's it. We're not gonna know who it's who. But now I think it kind of died down where, he cut his hair short.
Yeah.
That nice little high fade buzz cut. But it's that kind of hairdo where. Okay, that's it. You don't need you're not going to take a half hour to get your hair done.
Yeah.
You're finally just in and out, done. No hair product whatsoever. But no, now he's asking for a comb. He's got all the sea salt products, sea salt spray, texture powder, clay, pomade. Now I don't see why he needs it. Yeah. But now I guess he's asking for a different kind of texture or something for the short hairdo that. You don't need anything.
Just give him 3 flowers.
And I have 3 flowers. I found it.
Just give him 3 flowers and a hairnet.
Here you go, try it, dude. He's gonna have. That's right.
Wear the hairnet.
His hair is that short that he has to wear a hairnet. So I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, just do that. Orale, welcome to BG Homes.
Okay, Dad. Hey, it's cool. That's it.
Orale.
Just get him the suavecito stuff. That's
he has. We have that. Yeah. And now I guess he can use it. But it's that short where, I mean, he's at that age where
he's experimenting.
We don't know nothing.
Yeah, of course.
It reminds, and it's crazy how the style is because just how when we were young, the way we dressed, the way we combed our hair, the way we kind of fix ourselves, our parents were like, dude. Why are you dressing up like? Oh my God! The highlight phase. Oh. My dad literally told me, I wanted highlights. I think I was a junior, and I wanted highlights. All right, junior already. And he goes, "Do you want me to buy earrings and a dress for you as well?" Like, well, all right. So now that's his thought. Now we are the parents, and now our kids are dressing up the way they are, and now we're the ones correcting them. And it's like, well. We have to understand that's their style.
Well, I really don't correct Isaac. Like, yeah, I don't correct. I did once or twice because of his haircut, or like he would go to school and he would have like bad hair, like just like things sticking out and stuff. And I would be like, "Hey, dude, comb your hair," and he's like, "No, this is how I want it." And after a while, I'm like, "Okay, I get it. That's style." But I mean, for me, because for our generation, it's like that would have been a social taboo to go to school. We're like, the kids go to school now in PJs, like
exactly. I've seen that.
I would have. The hell is that? Oh,
that's Mario, man. He's having a good time.
Hold on a minute.
Jesus, wait, you really gonna stop talking? Just talk.
It's loud.
It's not that. Is that an alarm?
Yes, it's an alarm.
Oh, that's a cool alarm, man. I saw that Mario. It's a Mario one, right?
Yeah, it's the Nintendo alarm. It's how I wake up the kids when they're falling asleep.
Wow, they can sleep in class?
What kids don't?
That's true. I don't know.
I'm being what sorry. Maybe I wasn't sarcastic enough. It's when they're like,
Hey.
they shouldn't be falling asleep.
Hey,
Yeah.
we,
you know.
we used to fall asleep in class. I fell asleep a couple times in certain classes. You
So-
had those teachers that were there forever. Mr. Rizzi, I'm looking at you, who would not like give a shit no more. So he would just be like reading from the book and going like in 1490, and it would just be like monotonous. And after a while, after recess and the sun hits you just right, and we had no AC because BG was broke.
Yep.
So that heat, that perfect warmth, and that voice, and you're just like.
So, I have a question for you, Angel. I don't,
Here we
I
go.
mean, I don't mean to break it.
Here we go.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do we go? Where are we going? Like, you
I
tell
don't
me.
know.
Where are we
Well,
going?
we were talking about styles. Let's go back to the topic.
No. Go ahead. No, Enrique, go ahead.
No, okay. So we paused, right? And you got up and to go and you
Talk
go.
with your thing, yeah.
Yeah, and there was all this dead air.
That was dead air?
And my question to you is, how do you feel about that? Do you feel good about that?
I feel great about that.
Okay,
Dead
good.
air. That's right.
You may proceed now. There, the show's yours, guys.
Oh, so he he paused it to try to make a point about dead air by giving us
right.
more dead air. Got it. Awesome.
There you go.
Classy. Okay.
Go on. Continue.
So yeah, the PJ thing and stuff like that. And it's like, I understand it's a new generation and it's done things differently than what we used to do.
Yeah.
But it's funny now being a father to a teenager, and I'm like, yeah, my parents were fucking. They were.
My thing is
Great.
the hairstyle. It's not a major issue.
No,
I said
it's not
whatever.
at all. It's not at all.
My main issue, and I know he's going to watch this, and he knows. My issue was just the clothing that he wears. He wears these oversized pants. We bought him like a new pair of pants, and they're big, and he does that walk where he slides his feet on the floor. So the pants grind on the floor,
And they have all the fucking things sticking out
within
Yeah.
a week. It's
Yeah.
he already ripped the bottom part.
That's Isaac.
So then I go like, dude, and then I see everyone at school when I drop them off at school. They're literally all the same.
Yeah.
You don't see no one difference. It's like, I guess that's the trend. All I can do is just, well, okay, fine, accept it, whatever, right? So when he told me that he was gonna cut his hair, I was like, all right, cool. But then when the way he said it, he's like, I'm gonna cut it buzzed. I literally thought he was gonna he meant like shaved, and I was like, no, that's that. I said no. You either go ahead and style it in a good way, because if you shave it, with your baggy ass pants, that's it. You're gonna look a different way. And I was like, that was my thing. But he talked to me, cool. I went ahead, all right, fine. He showed me a picture. Now he looks normal, and it's like, wow. Last night, literally, we were watching a movie, and our son comes into the living room, and he has a normal haircut. He looks like a normal person. I was like, oh, my son. Like, now he looks normal, But yeah, it's just the styles nowadays. It's different. All the girls coming in their Uggs with their PJs.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I'm like, wow, dude. I don't know. Well, how would
Different
in our
guy.
generation, how would they have reacted? Like, dude, why are you hearing your PJs? I don't
You
know.
would have been a social pariah. Dude. You seriously would have been a social pariah. I mean, we had more varieties. We had different people,
Yes.
styles.
We had the preppy look.
We had the preppy. We had the hipsters. Not the hipsters, like hip hop. I mean,
Yeah,
we had
hip-hop.
we had the kind of like gang.
Alternative,
yeah.
grunge
Yeah.
look. The whole
heavy metal dudes.
The flannel shirts wrapped around your waist.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
We had the jocks as well. Mm-hmm. We had all that. We all got along. We also had the weird ones like Enrique, but
Now the jocks, the rockers, the rappers, they all
intertwined.
dress the same.
yeah, every single one.
They all dress the same. You can't tell the difference anymore.
We're old now.
That's another way to find out if you're old, right?
Yeah. That and when they start talking about artists and you have no idea what they're talking about.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
That's crazy.
But it's that's 2020.
2026, then.
Damn, dude.
How do you feel about that?
Let's see, 1996. How was 1996? Well, you guys were already in the real world, huh?
1996? No, I was.
I
I graduated in 97. He graduated in 96, right? You graduated?
No, 94.
94 you graduated? No.
95.
95.
95, right?
95.
Yeah. Yeah, I graduated in 97.
90, right here.
96, I was. That's when actually we were talking earlier about Hawaii. I went to Hawaii for that year. Hawaii for the first time. Loved it.
Yeah, no. That was it. Enrique was the first one to go into the real world.
Well, not really, because he was still hung around the school afterwards a lot.
He's like, with his Letterman jacket, Not even, huh?
He would hang out because he had a lot of underclassmen friends.
No, yeah, yeah.
And his
And that's
girlfriend at the time was underclassmen, so
Yeah.
so he would hang out a lot.
I
with
remember
us.
that. Yeah, I know that's
Which,
where,
which was great. And then
No, it was bad. Looking back on it, I wish I could have moved on. Like the truth of it is that I felt left behind. Like
Did
the
you?
people above me had left for college. I couldn't go. We couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
And going like I stayed stuck because of decisions that I made at the time.
Mm-hmm.
No, it wasn't good. I hated it. Looking back on it, I wish I had moved on.
well, selfishly, it was good for us because we had you around.
Well, like I think of like the guy who was in like my drum captain before
Mario?
no, not Mario. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember his name. Because then he went off to Long Beach City State, and then he went to Cal State Long Beach, and now he's an ambassador representative for America over like in the Latin countries, and stuff
Brazil.
like that. And so I mean, it's like I think of stuff like that and things that I could have done because I wasn't. I took too long to get out into the real world. That's the problem.
And why do you think is that? Besides it being financial, like what reason do you think it was?
I mean,
behind that?
financial maturity. I was emotionally stunted. I don't know. That's. I'm sure like you can like write a psychology book on it. I don't know. It's a good question.
I think the thing is we just had too much fun. We had too much fun. The friendship group, it was just huge, man. You know, it was a whole band.
It was. It's funny because like if you think about it, like we were very social,
Oh yeah,
but like it was a school thing because we all knew even people like outside a little circle.
Mm-hmm.
We were still friends with them, and we were like, oh yeah, he's cool, and everyone knew each other. And even though we would not like interact with them, like you knew people that I knew,
Yeah.
but you would interact with them separately than me, and then we'd be like, oh, so and so, yeah, he's cool as fuck. We never like brought him into a circle, but we all were friends,
Yep.
That's crazy though.
And that's just the thing that we got too close, too united. We didn't want it to be over. I mean, I do remember myself. Yeah, when I graduated, I went back to visit the band, and that's when they did the whole, where they will let the alumni, like if you were in drumline, you can play a cadence with them, or like if you were in the band, they'll hook you up with an instrument, you play along with them as well, and but it just felt weird. Like I shouldn't be here, and I think I only went once to one homecoming, and that's it, and then
You're done.
and then the ones that didn't want to let go, they kept on inviting. Hey, bro, we're gonna get together for homecoming. Like, oh, that's nice. Like, all right, enjoy, dude. Like, dude, you graduated like 4 years ago, bro. Like, like, why do you want to go back?
I had my high school sweetheart was 1 year below me, your year, and she was like, hey, after you graduate, come visit me. I think I did it 2 times, and after that, I never did it again. I'm like, I can't do it. It's just weird. Like, I couldn't do it. And I told her, and my best friend was also 1 grade below me, and I told her the same thing. I go, dude, like, come visit me at my house. Like, I live down the block. Just come visit me because I can't do it. It's different.
Yeah,
it hits differently.
That's one thing I did. Like, it even my son was like, what? Because I was with somebody in my senior year, and she was a freshman.
Oh, Jesus.
But it ended before.
Okay.
It ended. I don't know. It ended before, and it was just it just, we were young, man. We were just young. It was like puppy love. And
Isn't it funny though? Like back then, you're like, this is the one. I love her.
Yeah. No. Actually,
I'm gonna be with her forever.
dude. No.
No, I really did. I did think that like my high school girlfriend was like the one. Like I really thought she was like the one. And looking back, I'm like, yeah, she was not even close to the one. Like, but that's all I knew. That's the extent of my growth when it came to that. But it's not even like a high school thing because I don't know if it happens to you guys. Have you guys ever like been employed somewhere where like they're still around after you left or whatever, and then you go back and it's just not the same? Like if you go back, like let's say I used to work in a pharmacy when I was a kid, right? And it's not there no more. And it was for that brand Good Neighbor Pharmacy, which is like a franchise and stuff. There was one in Holliday called Big A Pharmacy, and I was working there since age 13 under the table. And it doesn't matter, they're gone, so I can say it out loud. And it was like my sister was still working there. She had been working there until they closed down, and I would go back either to visit my sister or just to cash a check or pay utilities or something because it was run from my house. And I would go and everyone would be like, yeah, hey, how's it going? And it felt like the same feeling when you go to high school to
Yeah.
after you graduate. You're
Yeah.
like, I don't belong here. Like, I shouldn't be here.
You know, I when I worked at I mean, I get that. When I went to my last employment was in Home Depot. I worked there part time, and obviously I have to go to Home Depot to get things for like to fix or whatever.
And now he goes.
And
to
I
those.
see people there that are still there.
Mhm.
Maybe from the team that was there when I was there.
Yeah.
Maybe I've only seen like 3 people, because now it's a whole new group.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah.
still, it's like you get that thought.
You get that weird feeling.
You're like, dude, you're still here, kind of thing. But I mean, yeah, it does feel different.
My
And,
wife used to work in Universal Studios, and we've only been there like, I think the last time we were there were like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that. But we went, and I remember she was just like, it feels weird. She's like,
Yeah.
it feels weird. And when I went to film school, I was at Universal Studios. It was the same place, and it's changed so much. But I would not see it from the park area. I would see it from behind the scenes. So, for me, it had no effect. Like I know more from behind, backstage, back lot, than she did in the theme park itself. But for her, she was like, "Oh my god, I know that guy. He used to work with me."
Yeah.
And it's like that's kind of awkward.
I mean, it's cool like to see when you go back. When you go back and you see a person that you worked in the same department, and then you go back years later and that person is still in the same department, it's like, dude, like you really didn't move on, man. Like you're really stuck.
Some
they
people
got
are
comfortable.
satisfied and
Yeah, they
comfortable.
get
Like it's like,
comfortable.
hey, I can
Yeah.
pay my bills. I'm good. I could set my hours how I want.
I mean, hey, I still live with my mom and dad, and they're like, whoa, okay,
Yeah,
whatever.
Hey, man,
Hey, whatever.
what makes you happy,
California's expensive as hell.
Yeah, it's expensive as hell.
California's expensive as hell.
What was I gonna say right now when you said about that? Like that's what happened to me at the pharmacy. Like I was working there from age 13 to like 20 something, right? And I realized, oh my god, I've been here for over 8 years or something like that. And my dad had passed away, and I had made it from stock boy to assistant manager at least, but it was a mom and pop business. I knew that what was the next step was being manager of a drugstore. Why would I want to do
Right,
that? Like
right.
it wasn't something that I really wanted to do. And I remember thinking like one day something snapped in me. I'm like, I have to go back to school. And it had been, I think at that point, I think it was like 3 years after I graduated or something like that. It was like 99 or something like that. And I was like, yeah, it was, because I went to school in New York Film Academy in 2000. So I was like, okay, I have to do something. And I remember like I've always wanted to do music, but at that point it was just too late, like too much time had passed, and it's an expensive career just to, study it as well. So I was like, okay, I got to do something entertainment. And I was like, I never really thought film. I thought, okay, I want to do something like that because that's my passion. What do I do? And I was actually going to go into like makeup and special effects. That's kind of what I wanted to do. I went to look at a school called Cinefex. I don't know if they're there anymore. I got a tour of the place and all that, but something was wrong about the vibe because they were just like, we got that over there, we got that over. Like they didn't care. Like, just give us money. So at that point, I was like, I don't know if I want to do this.
Yeah, man, that's one of those things where, yeah, I mean, I didn't kind of like Enrique. I was in the same thought. Like once I graduated, I didn't know where. Like, okay, well, I didn't understand how college worked. Literally, I did not know. I just said, I'll go to Cerritos. Like, who hasn't gone, right? And I go, and I didn't know that. Oh, I had to meet with a counselor. They give me this big booklet. I'm like, what the heck is this? I go, well, you got to choose a class. Oh, okay. I want this one, this one, this one. And then they give you, they has the prices on the side, like, wait, you got to pay how much per credit? And I mean, I didn't understand it at all. And I think I took like stupid classes too. I took a piano class.
A piano?
I wanted to learn how to read piano music. I know how to play the piano, but I learned it by ear. So, but that class, the teacher basically told me like, yeah, you're one of those. Yeah, it's going to be hard for you to learn how to read music. I'm like, wow. So I wasted money on that class.
Wow.
I joined an art class. I basically just picked any class just to say I go to college. After I think I did like 2 semesters, a year. I don't know. And then I said, yeah, never mind. That's where, I started working, and that I got hooked on the money. Like, oh, I got money. And, I worked at Chuck E. Cheese. I worked at a party supply company with Angel. I don't even remember Angel, the saxophone
Angel?
player. He was a saxophone player, tall dude.
Blonde? No, not blonde, but like ashy blonde.
Güerito, yeah, like
Güerito,
Güerito.
yeah, I remember him.
He worked. He's the one that hooked me up with the. Adrian was the one that Angel had told Adrian Mora. Yeah, I told him about the job, but then he told me about it, and I went and I applied and I got it. I worked there for like less than a year or so, and then that's when I work where I'm at now. I've been there I worked there for 23 years already.
Jeez.
But it's just one of the, it's like that, you know. Now, you know, back to how when you start working somewhere, I started off as a driver, then from there worked into the warehouse, and then moved up to another bigger warehouse, to the corporate office, and now I'm in the corporate office world. If I was to go back to a branch and I see the guy that just, dude, you've been here for 20 plus years and you still just packaging packages, is that kind of person that, oh, well, he's just comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, well, a job's a job, you know. If they feel comfortable, they don't want to move up that corporate ladder, that's their choice. But
I mean, I also think they don't have a drive. And,
yeah,
and also like
figure what for.
like Enrique has said, he wasn't like emotionally mature to move on from high school for a second.
Me either,
I think
yeah,
that's
me
the
either.
issue with them. Like that was me with working at the pharmacy.
Yeah,
That's all I knew. That's the only job I knew. That was home for me, and I would work from 8 in the morning to 8 at night. So that was home for me. Like that, I lived there. I grew up. You know,
and not only that, you're single.
Yep.
I never thought that first of all I was going to get married. I never thought that I was going to be a parent. I never thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I never thought about the future. You know, I didn't know nothing. I just like lived the life and just go with the flow. Hung out with the same friends, you know, and it's just like that's how I end up growing up myself, you know.
You become just repetitive, and you're in this like kind of like this show, and you're just stuck doing that.
Did you say this show becomes repetitive? That's funny. That's very funny.
But I mean, it's like, but the good thing is, like you know, growing up as an adult was like, oh man, you know, you learn as you grow up.
Yeah,
But
I mean, you still make
one thing that I
mistakes.
enjoyed, yes, like Enrique, I enjoyed the high school years. But one thing for sure is I enjoyed my childhood. I think we all enjoyed our childhood.
We were 80s and 90s kids.
80s and 90s kids.
That's good.
80s was best because we were kids. We were able to get into some trouble and whatever. You know, 90s, we still try to mature, teenage years. But yeah, I'm in the 80s, man, dude. And then the 90s. It was
80s and 90s, yeah, it was the thing.
It was the best
Isn't it
generation.
funny?
Best generation.
Isn't it funny though that now, as we're adults, like pop culture now is coming full circle, and we have things like
How do you say it?
it's a sickle, it's a sickle.
It's a circle.
It's coming full circle, and
Yeah.
and now the things that we were popular when they were kids are now being reintroduced. I took my
Yep.
kids to McDonald's the other day, and the Happy Meal had something called changeables in them. And it's basically the new version of the old Transformer Happy Meal toys that we had when we were kids.
Yeah.
Like the chicken nuggets that transform into like a dinosaur or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. It was the hamburger box.
Hamburger box, yeah, the hamburger
Yeah.
box and the chicken nugget box, and and the drink had eyes. And
Oh, so they're bringing that back?
they brought them
something
back.
similar.
No, they're back, but they're not the same. Like they're more cutesy now, more robotic than before. Ours were more like, oh, these are animals and stuff. Or
Ours
aliens
were
and
made of
stuff.
lead.
Yeah. You got. They looked amazing because you would get high on them. You're like, oh, these are the best toys
This
ever.
is awesome.
Yeah. Plus, one thing that I do miss though, like if you remember, we had toxic plastic when we were kids, so everything had it was like a thicker plastic, like it just you could throw it and it would like last or whatever. Now it's like it falls off the table and like shatters into pieces, and it's
Yeah,
super
dude.
light, and it doesn't last because everything has to be biodegradable or whatever.
gosh, dude,
We
the
didn't give a
rules.
shit about that stuff when we were kids.
We didn't care about, man, those toys back then. Oh man, dude, there were a bunch of tiny parts. Now, oh well, because a kid can choke on the toy. Now we're gonna make. I remember GI Joes, dude. GI Joes were made of 3 parts: the legs,
the rubber
the
band
middle part,
with the rubber
which
band?
was the waist,
Yeah, with the rubber band in
and
the
the
middle.
top part, and the top part and the bottom part had a hook, and it had that rubber band in the middle, right?
Yeah.
And those GI Joes. You can't find. I don't know if you can find those now.
No, they don't.
Now it's all one solid piece.
Yeah.
And this is like,
The new GI Joes are larger. They're like that big.
my God. Ours were like this small.
My son collects them. These are larger. They look great. But they look great. They really do. It's like they have a bunch of accessories, and you're like, damn, the detail to them is amazing. but you get them out of the packet. You open them. First of all, they're articulated, but they're articulated like kind of like they're articulated. They're not really as movable as ours.
Exactly.
You know, it's like if you move his arm this way, well, the sculpting is going to be funky, so it's going to have like a point up here.
Yeah.
It's not like ours where it was just like whatever. And the plastic, they feel cheap.
Is that hollow plastic?
It's that hollow plastic.
they
feel
3D print them
cheap.
now.
Yeah, they're terrible. So that I was telling my son, I go, dude, these are cool looking. I told him, but
The quality is
they
just
feel
not there.
like crap. And then also it's like, okay, so you have this figure, and each figure is like $25.
Gosh, dude.
$25. Like even inflation wise, that's ridiculous. That doesn't make sense, you know? Like I remember when I was a kid, I mean, they were like cheap. They were like $5, $6, whatever they were. And even, you know,
They're
not-
$5, but you would get like 3. action
Yeah,
figures.
you would get 3. And
the
not
whole team with J. Joe. Oh, yeah, you know.
Now, there is a caveat to that, to the whole expensive action figure. I don't know if they're still here, but a couple years ago, Walmart had a deal with a small toy company that would get licensing of rare stuff. And they had the big figures, just like the G.I. Joes, about yay big, that actually had a little more plastic to them because, you know, they didn't care about safety. So
Right,
they kind of
exactly.
cut corners.
Yeah.
So they had Predator. Like, you know, Predator the movie,
Right.
and the Alien series as well. And these figures were amazing. They were huge, and they only cost $9.99.
Wow.
So my kids, both Isaac and Michael, the middle child, they have a ton of these. And to this day, they're great. But yeah, after a while, they do start falling apart because the plastic is not as durable as it used to be when we were kids. Of course, you don't get lead poisoning either, but
Right.
which is, I guess it's a plus. But, you know, at least those figures were worth it, and that makes sense. $10 for that quality, and it's even better than the $25 ones.
Right.
All day, bro. But all the other figures, like even I collect WWE figures. Right? I stopped for a while because they got expensive. But yeah, they're like $25, $30 for those figures, and the quality is not as good as it used to be.
But do you remember the ones from the 80s? Those were like not articulate.
Which one?
They were just like flat, like big slabs of plastic, and they were like stiff as hell. Do you remember?
Which one's the
Thundercats.
No, I'm talking about like the WWF characters.
the rubber ones. The rubber ones are like that.
awful.
The WWF
Yeah.
figures that I remember were the plastic ones.
Yeah.
But they had like wiring inside.
Well, but
So if you were to move the arm like this, it would stay like that.
These
You know,
no,
if you were
these
to-
ones-
these were hard.
These
and
were
you-
hard
These were hard. And you
Dude.
could, they were by LGN.
Back in the 80s, these were like they were like big slabs of like
They
rubber.
They were kind of a little larger than his monster can.
Yeah, they were huge, and you
Fat.
could get all of them. You
They
could get
smelled
like
like
Hulk
tire.
Hogan, Macho Man, and they were just, dude, they were like weapons. If you hit somebody with them, you were gonna knock the fuck out
You,
of
you
them.
would get a concussion for sure.
It was bad.
They're back though. They are back.
Those are horrible. I don't know who approved that.
Collectors
Man.
buy them, dude.
Well, you know that's the thing. Like fucking collectors and
toys.
nostalgia, they'll look back on something like that and be like, "Oh, them were the glory days." But I mean, you know, there's a lot of like real negative stuff about that
If
crap.
you look
know?
back at a bunch of stuff that we thought was amazing when we were kids, it does not hold up.
No.
There's a lot of stuff that's. The one that disappointed me was I remember watching the new cartoons and thinking, well, actually not new. This was about 15 years ago or so, 20
Right.
years ago. This is when I was with my niece and nephew watching cartoons with them. I would watch cartoons and I'd be like, the art style of this animation is terrible. It's so simplified and everything's doodly. This is terrible. And I would talk to my nephew and I'd be like, yeah, dude, when I was a kid, they were like masterpieces. There was detail. You could see all this background. Masters of the Universe was amazing, this and that. And I actually did find a copy of Masters of the Universe and I saw it. I'm like, oh, this is not what I remember.
They do a
At
lot
all.
of shortcuts.
Oh no, not even that. It's just they're badly drawn and badly animated. They're crap, and even the stories are crap because they were just trying to sell toys. You know, Thundercats had a little more better story, but yeah, the animation was flawed. It was really flawed. Oh shoot! Before I continue, Enrique, did you hear they're making a live action Robotech or Macross?
They've been talking about that for like 25 years.
I know, but they just-
you know who had it before? Okay, so
They just casted
Leonardo
somebody. Yeah,
DiCaprio,
I
like
remember
used
that.
like
I
for
remember
years
that.
had the rights to it. Before that, Keanu Reeves had those rights back in the I want to say early 2000s. Believe me, you want to talk about Robotech? Like man, that cartoon was my passion.
Those toys.
I love those, and so I've been wanting a live action of that forever. I could like we could do a whole retrospective on it. Like honestly,
do you think that would do it justice though?
with today's technology, maybe. But dude, like
It's never gonna.
the problem with the show is that there's two like competing things that would have to happen for it to be good. One, you'd have to really get the human drama aspect of it, and that's not going to happen in 2 hours.
No.
It's just not. It's going to be a long form TV, which brings you to the other problem. The special effects are going to be through the roof because everything hinges on the believability that these large airplanes can transform into like movable robots. And sure, you can do that in small. I mean, we've seen it over the past how many years, like with Pacific Rim. But think about how those are always animated. Pacific Rim robots are like in their water with their slow swinging, and you know, and that makes sense to us because physics wise, it's just gonna. That's how it's probably gonna move. So watch this big robot like swinging like crazy. I mean, dude, literally you have these planes that are flying, maneuvering, and then like in midair they transform and do these like maneuvers while it's amazing to look at, but in concept, I don't know that it'll work. So
Well, it
I don't
should
think
work.
it'll work.
It should work. It's kind of like the they should make it like the rule where, you know, like if you were to watch a Godzilla, you know, Power Rangers, and they're fighting and they're destroying buildings, they're like, ooh, what about the people in the building? Oh my God, all those people that they kill. But is that Godzilla rule supposedly? Oh well, don't focus on the buildings or the people.
Just
Just about
on
the
the
action.
overall, like-
So they could use that against towards that. You know, like, well, it's the robots. They're in this world, in this multiverse. The robots work faster. They're oiled up. You know, their hydraulics work faster. I don't know.
But it's still gonna give off that uncanny valley feel.
Yeah, well, I
I
don't
hear
know,
what
man.
you're saying. Like I agree with you, Robert. Like I mean, oftentimes there's a suspension of belief and
Sometimes you
disbelief that we
get
have
too
to do.
real. Too like, oh,
We have to do that. I mean, to believe that like this, 100-foot tall, lizard is gonna like destroy Tokyo and everything around it. So there is definitely a suspension of disbelief.
and
But
then make a parade for him. Like, you just destroyed half the city, dude. Shit.
so within all that, like you have to have there has to be some internal logic rules that make sense.
Exactly.
And when they don't, we notice it. But that's the part. That's kind of where the art and the science like clash, because I think oftentimes when we don't like it, we don't really understand why. Like we can talk all this smart talk about it, but at the end of the day, sometimes we'll look at something and we're like, it just didn't feel right. It didn't look right, and we don't know how. So that's why when somebody gets it right, those people are artists when they do that.
Yeah.
Like you can look at every Transformer movie that's come out, and I can only say that they got the Transformers right in the last two movies in terms of how they looked.
I
and
agree.
felt.
I agree.
Bumblebee was close,
Great.
but then it was a better movie in terms
Yeah.
of story. But it was the one after that
Rise of the Beast.
that really nailed it.
That movie was amazing, and I will fight you over that movie.
And
That is a great movie.
stuff like that. But it's hard, and it's taken a long time, because I think what happened is you had a lot of older like executives who wanted to like inject like their ideas into it, and then I think had similar mentality to what Robert just said, in that like, well, we can make people believe it by changing this, and it sounds good around a table, but when you see it, if it doesn't work, we'll know. Like as a fan, you'll know, and also just like as a casual fan, you'll know. Like you can feel it. Like dude, those Michael Bay movies were bad, and I don't
all
know
the
why
Michael Bay
people
movies are bad.
They made so much money. I'll never understand. So obviously people liked them. I just never did. I don't know why.
I believe that the mass popularity, the mass majority of people don't really care much about their entertainment. So they're just numb. They just want action in front of them. They don't really care about the details. And then the other half are people who are not true fans, who just go back to the same group as the first one, where they're just like, I just want to be entertained. And that's what the majority of people are. Now, fans of certain genres or certain stuff, we're more critical of what you put in front of us.
Yeah.
And we will call you out on your bullshit. And I think that's one of the issues that I'm kind of having with the Masters of the Universe movie that's coming to come out.
Yeah, like they add like Masters of the Universe. I don't know what I recall of watching the cartoons. You guys correct me, because you guys were bigger fans, but like I don't ever recall He-Man being in the city.
No,
modern clothes.
It was never on Earth. It was
It was never
Eternia.
on Earth, and yet the new trailer shows that he's in Earth.
So here's
and then the one with Ralph Lundgren. Lundgren? Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren.
When
Which was shot in Whittier, by the way. Uptown Whittier.
Okay, he was in modern. Why? Oh,
Because they transferred him. The key turned him into
Earth. So it's like,
and then,
dude, like why?
Now, lore wise, I do gotta say, in the comics and stuff, they do mention that his mother, the queen, she's originally an astronaut from Earth that got lost in space.
So the thing about the thing about Masters of the Universe was that the lore of it really came from it came like a mixture of Conan the Barbarian and Flash Gordon.
Yes.
And if you remember, Flash Gordon ended up in a different part of the galaxy, and why he encountered Ming. So what they did with the mom was she was an astronaut in He-Man, and she went through a wormhole and ended up in Eternia, and she married King Adam.
Randor.
Or Randor. Thank you.
Randor.
Thank you. So they got married, and that's how that's why He-Man, Prince Adam, is half human.
And then, which later on, Princess Allura, they really.
It
got
got weird there.
It got weird.
Now the whole thing about it was like those were all like that lore was like sort of like retroactively added in as the toys were coming out, because just like G.I. Joe, they had comic book writers creating the backstory of a lot of this stuff, and so Marvel Comics had a hand in it, and I forget which other imprint. And what they did was they wanted to inject that internal logic that I was talking about earlier, but they did it retroactively. So the shows didn't really care about it.
No.
They sort of offhanded made comments of it here and there, but really all we cared about as kids was like, did it look cool and was it fun to watch?
Yeah.
But now that it existed, well, now you have to like stick to it, because that's what made it work. It's hard to explain, but if you try to change it too much, you mess up. Which is why I think both the Dolph Lundgren He-Man movie worked and also didn't work.
Yeah.
It worked in that he was an alien, and he came from Eternia, which was another planet. But obviously they brought it to Earth to make it cheaper. Because, I mean, can you imagine like trying to create this like high budget He-Man movie at the time? It just wasn't going to happen.
Not just that. It wasn't also because to make it cheaper, because it was possible. But that is a fact. That's a factor.
That's the fact. Well, that was the fact. That's if you listen to a lot.
I have.
Right. They say that the biggest thing was like when they budgeted it out, this number was astronomical, and they didn't think it was going to make that. So they were like, nope. The executive said we need to make it on planet Earth to make it cheaper.
But the reason behind that also is two factors. You're kind of simplifying it a little bit.
Sure.
And the first factor is the production studio that made that were known to be very fickle with their budgets. They were very tightwads.
Yeah.
They did everything on a shoestring budget. So they would never throw proper money. So it's like, of course, no matter what number you hit,
Mike.
no matter what number you tell them, they will always be like, that's too much.
Right.
That was the downfall was it Canon?
Right.
Yeah. So that was the thing. They were known to be cutting corners and stuff. That's one. Two, in the early 80s and 90s of movies, executives had this thing where like everything had to be, all the movies had to have the point of view from the storyteller the narrative had to be shown through an outsider's perspective, and everything had to be Earth-based. So no matter what it was, if you look back at other movies, no matter what the brand, the IP is, and it's a they'll land them on Earth.
No, look, I get it. And when you
true.
when you make movies, you have to ground stories and within the point of view of a character that's relatable. Of course, you do. I think oftentimes you think that is really the only way to tell a story. I disagree, but obviously at this point, disagreeing doesn't make any difference. But I disagree that that's always going to be the case. I think people can take the perspective of a character they don't understand. You see it all the time in movies.
Dark Crystal was perfect.
Perfect, exactly. A good example. Although, well, it's a great movie, but I guess I have to look at it from two ways. One, from a studio perspective, it was a failure, wasn't it?
Yes, 100%.
So that's the problem. And that's why they get validated, continuing for the last 50, 60 years, being able to say, that's why we need to make it on planet Earth.
Exactly.
So we can make the perspective of the human, and therefore it's going to make more money. And I don't think that's why it failed. It didn't fail because people couldn't bond with it. It failed because it probably wasn't marketed well, or probably because, I think that at the time that they released it, I think if I remember correctly, the Dark Crystal didn't come out in the holidays. And at the time they didn't understand that holidays is around the time that people are suspending their belief. And that's when a lot of the more fantastical movies do so well.
Yeah.
And it wasn't only until like the 90s that the summer blockbuster really came to fruition.
Yeah.
So when I think they released Dark Crystal sometime in the springtime or something like that.
Yeah.
And so at the time people were just not everyone's being religious. I mean that's probably a very sort of esoteric view of it, but I think that factors in.
I believe.
You know what I'm saying?
I wholeheartedly agree.
But when it comes down to it, if you write a movie well and you make characters that are interesting and you put them in a compelling package, you're going to get people that go along with it. I mean, us as kids. Okay, so I know we were like sort of explaining our experiences as kids, and I know that there's a kind of this view that things have changed and kids have changed, and it's true, and yet it isn't, because a lot of these styles the kids are tapping into are actually like just rehashes the things that we did.
Yeah,
and when you guys
the pants, they're very, very 90s.
Right. And so when you talk about like how we had more variation back then, I only think that's true in so much that our view was more like our perspective on things were like right in front of us. But now, like, we're so like nebulized, like where like our views are now being like spread out from the internet and everywhere else, and genres and trends no longer come from one place. Like, I can tell you, for us three, our opinion was based off of like whatever Saturday morning cartoon we watched. Right. Then later on in the 90s, whatever TV show, TGI Fridays, we had a connective community because of that stuff.
I think we even had a wider variety.
Well,
no,
I would think. So like we had like, you know, like the thing is in my case is like, okay, we had He-Man, we had Thundercats, we had Silverhawks, we had G.I. Joe, Masks, we had all these different cartoons that one day we were hoping, oh man, dude, how would they make this movie in real life? How would it look?
But here's the thing, though.
Now I don't know what cartoons were.
To Enrique's point, it was a community, though. Like, we all watched the same thing because that's all that was available.
Yeah.
Like, we would all watch Saturday morning cartoons, TGI Fridays, and that's all we had.
Yeah.
Nowadays, there are so many options. You've got all these streaming services that have different things. You have these websites that you can watch things from around the world. Everyone has a different... And then you have TikTok, which has become, and YouTube, which has become an entertainment capital for them.
Well, I mean, the other part I was trying to get to, it's like where our styles come from. We used to be able to associate people based on the genres of music they were in. So earlier when you guys were talking about the variations, honestly, what you guys were really pointing out was the type of music they liked. In high school, we had the people who were goths, and we know exactly what music they were listening to. They were listening either to Depeche Mode, Echo and the Bunnymen, The Cult, or like London After Midnight, and and those the genres. You had that group over there who were like the hard like rock kids, and you knew exactly what they were listening to and what radio station, KNAC, and then you had the crossover groups. I think most of us three probably, well, with the exception of Angel, who was more of a purist, but I think maybe me and Robert were kind of in the same, where we sort of flopped around different genres. Yeah. And so like our taste would have been either Power 106, Kiss, or K-Rock. And anybody outside of LA who didn't grow up in the 90s, these names would probably be like, what? K-Rock, Power 106. But that was where our genres came from. Mm-hmm. So now what I'm trying to get to is that communities were based around those views, but now communities are less because they're based on what everyone sees on social media and come from different places. So going back to the cartoon aspect. Okay, so right now He-Man is coming out. As you can see, the poster of the new one versus like our 80s one. Us as kids, man, we wanted He-Man to look a certain way, even though we grew up and we didn't realize, man, that was a very gay show. It's a very gay show. Let me first state that.
He would hop on the tiger.
But yet, he was a beefy dude, and we wanted him to look that way. So when they got Dolph Lundgren, mind you, in all his glory, we were kind of cool with that, you know?
Like the meme says, he had a friend named Fisto.
Yes, he did. And man, he faces.
And he had a mustache.
He had
a mustache.
He looked like John Holmes.
He had the porn stash.
Yeah.
Did he have a heart? He had a heart shape?
No.
That was a different character.
That was in She-Ra.
That was in She-Ra. That was that Bo or whatever.
There you go.
Bo, yeah, Bo.
Is that his name? Bo?
Man, I wish I had your memory, Angel, because I don't. Because I didn't remember that. And I just watched the remake She-Ra cartoon, and man, that show was also very, very, very gay, which is fine. I loved it. I thought the She-Ra cartoon was pretty good.
I didn't say it. Was it better than the original?
No, not. Listen,
because look,
the He-Man Masters of the Universe was better than the original. Sorry, I'm going to say it. The She-Ra
100%
remake
and Revolution are amazing.
The She-Ra remake on many levels was better than the original, but yet it could never be better than the original because the original is what started it. Same thing with He-Man. Mm-hmm. However, I enjoyed it.
No, I wholeheartedly agree. Also, I gotta add to that. Same rule applies to Thundercats. The one that was done by the Avatar team. the story was amazing compared to the original one. Because when you look back, yeah, it looked great, but those stories that we like, our memory really fails us when it comes to those.
Yeah. So here's the thing, now. I mean, we were kind of going on a point about like Masters of the Universe and
Yes.
sort of like why it was unfilmable, and yet it was. I think for us, mostly, it's like growing up as kids, like a lot of our imaginations were based off of like either playing with toys or watching cartoons. And so therefore we had like a very fixed view of what we wanted things to look like. So remember when the Ninja Turtles movie came out? I never believed in a million years that I
never
was going to
seen-
be super
Yeah.
excited but I mean I was. Do you guys remember when the movie was announced? It was like on Nintendo Power. Did you guys get into
Yeah,
Nintendo
I used
Power?
to get Nintendo Power.
I was
yeah.
broke.
So Nintendo Power was the best like magazine for video games at that time. And so in the back, coming attractions, there was like a little picture, and it was of Raphael, right, in his trench coat,
That was Raphael, the
standing there,
trench
and I'm
coat?
thinking, holy smokes, that's an actual Ninja Turtle. That looks really good.
Actually, they had I don't know if they had it before the movie came out, but they had trading cards.
They did.
They did have
It
trading
was
cards.
before the movie came out or after?
After. Well, actually,
So the interesting thing about Ninja Turtles is
I remember seeing. Sorry, Ricky, but
No, that's
I
right.
remember seeing Casey Jones. I caught up as Casey Jones. You know, it was in part 2, right? But the one
No,
thing
he's-
that I remember, Shredder, when they showed Shredder in a card, like it was a picture of him on the roof. You know, spoiler alert for those who haven't seen Teenage Mutant Ninja.
if you haven't seen it by now, you're dead to me. I'm sorry. This is we hold live grenades here, and I don't care for your like lack of watching stuff. So we're gonna spoil it all. So,
yeah,
so
if, you
please
haven't-
proceed.
if you have not watched Ninja Turtles, get the fuck out. Just
know?
get out.
So I remember seeing those clips, yeah, and I remember seeing Raphael in that trench coat with the hat low down, you know, and you could see the little glimpse of the red bandana. Dude, I was just like, the one thing that went to my mind was like, I wonder how the ooze is gonna look like, you know. Even though they never did show it, huh?
No,
Part
no,
one?
well, no, they did actually.
When they were little,
it was
when they were little turtles,
So
right?
here's the deal. Okay, so Ninja Turtles. When the movie was first pitched, it was concurrently done with, and Angel can say this, was concurrently pitched with the cartoon. So the movie, the cartoon, even the video game, the one that was made by Konami, were all being done at the same time.
Dude.
Right before we like knew of the Ninja Turtles as a cartoon, because the comic books had been out for about 4 years already, right?
My first thing
Yes.
was the cartoon.
And so the comic book, right?
Yeah.
Same here, same
Yeah.
here. I didn't know about the comic books until way even later. Actually, and we'll get to the comic books because at some point I'm going to talk about Batman, because that really was a game changer. But mind you, comic books were a source of like our youth. We just didn't know it. I mean, for sure. Ninja Turtles, one of them. Amazing comic book looking back on it. However, what ended up happening was they optioned all of these things at the same time. And that movie was probably more informed by the comic book than the cartoon. It wasn't until like later on that they started to differentiate. Like I think as they were making the movie, the cartoon came out and it became a big hit. So they realized we need to like make sure that they have the same color coding. We need to make sure that they have the kind of the same energy. But if you remember that first movie, it's more like the comics, isn't it, Angel? It feels more like it is.
It was a cross between both. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They
And-
tried to ground it a little more into the comic books.
To the point that they didn't even have the theme song that we all grew up loving. So interesting thing, and that's maybe says a lot about why that was such a great cartoon or such a great movie and why it worked. Because sometimes you gotta veer from source material, but I don't know, man. I loved it. I didn't think it was gonna work as a kid even then, and when I came out of that theater, I believe they were real.
I didn't get to see the movie until it came out on VHS.
I have my experience with the movie was I knew it was coming. I was bugging my parents to do it, to go watch it. And they were like, okay, yeah, we'll go watch it and this and that. And I remember something, like vaguely remember, I think I was in 5th grade when the movie came out. And I wasn't doing good in school, but I hid it.
Oh.
And there was supposed to be, like I had a parent-teacher counseling meeting that week. I think it was I think the movie came out on a Thursday, and I had like my meeting on Wednesday or something like that. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell my parents. So we went to the movies. I had a great time, and then my mom gets a call on Friday. They missed their conference on Wednesday.
We're like, oh well, I saw the
Oh
movie.
my god, dude! I knew that it was gonna happen, but I was just kind of like, I didn't care. Like I was just like, I never was great in school. Like I did not like after a while. I didn't see the point. I thought it was stupid. So for me, I was just like, I saw the movie. I'm done. Give me the punishment. So for me, that will always be a reminder. That movie, I love that movie. It's one of my favorite, and I mean, it's flawed as fuck, but I still love it. And but for me, it'll always trigger that inner child in me. Like I got in trouble over that movie.
My God.
That's funny. Actually, my dad took me my two brothers, my youngest brother Ricardo and my older brother Solis, to go watch it at the over at Cerritos.
Oh,
Yeah, so he left us there and then picked us up afterwards, and I remember like coming out after watching the movie and just being so stoked by the whole thing that in the lobby they had like do you remember the arcade game? They had it there in the lobby, and man, I wanted to.
With the line of quarters on the screen, right?
Yep.
People are like, oh, next.
one of the best arcades around, man.
And it was great. So you know, when I think about like the stuff that I liked back then, I mean, dude, for me, like obviously G.I. Joe, He-Man, that stuff, like, and Robotech, by the way, like 1984. So that was very much like I used to run home from middle school to catch Robotech at like 3:30.
Yeah.
I think it was 3:30 in the afternoon on Channel 13 at the time here. I don't even know if it was called KCOP. Dude, like, but really what really changed like my life was Michael Keaton as Batman.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
in that movie, you know, my whole point of reference was like Batman from the 1960s, you know, Adam West stuff.
Ditto.
And I loved it. I as a kid, man, how could you not love it? It was colorful. It was action packed. It was funny.
Man, those tights. Sexy.
And so it was like a good show. But dang, when the movie came out, the Michael Keaton movie, like it came out in 1988, so I must have been 11 years old. Yeah, right. We would have like I was 11. You guys were probably
8.
You were 11 as well. You
I
would have
was-
been 8.
Yeah, I was like 10, 11, yeah.
Yeah, and so, dude, like that's what started the comic book craze for me.
Well, that was huge because that actually grounded it a little more, and that's what made it like pop the way it did. So Tim Burton did an amazing job with it. I mean, looking back again, like everything, it's flawed. You know, like he couldn't turn his neck. You know,
Yeah.
to look up, he had to look to the whole body.
But again, that's the artistry that I was talking about earlier, and that like it worked. There was some sort of magic there, and oftentimes it's hard to capture that magic or recapture it because I mean you can argue that the Batman Returns wasn't that good of a movie because of that. I mean I liked it,
I liked it, but yeah,
there was just the magic of that first one.
it flew.
Yeah, and so it's hard to do.
Do you
that.
remember? Do you remember the backlash they got about when they announced the casting for Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne
Yes,
Batman?
I remember it enough. I like for me now, like when it comes to Batman, I'll never forget the argument you and I had about Ben Affleck being Batman. Like
dude.
Angel and I, like on
ate
Facebook, were
crow.
talking crap to each other because
I ate crow on that one so badly.
he's
dude.
like
What,
he was making fun of me. He was like, "Oh yeah, so you want I forget you reference Argo and Good Will Hunting, and you were doing all these jokes, and I'm like, dude, believe me, man, he's a serious actor. He's got the charisma. It's gonna work. I kid you not.
I was like, this is the worst casting ever. It doesn't even look like him. What the fuck? And then I saw the suit, and I was like, this is.
Dude.
And then I saw the movie, and I'm like, okay, the movie's crap, but
Batman
Affleck
was
is the
dope.
shit. Like
Batman was dope.
Ben Affleck, by far to this day, is the superior Batman in my book. Just flat out, just like it's not even close. It's him, then Michael Keaton.
Yeah, Michael Keaton, nostalgically speaking, was amazing when he wears that.
Well, 'cause he was
suit.
the only choice we had back then.
Look at
Think
the
about it.
face. Look at the cowl on this guy. It's incredible. Like Michael Keaton made it work. I remember enough of
It
that
was
time.
believable.
I remember enough of the controversy at that time to like because he was a comedic actor.
Yeah, Mr. Mom was out, and like,
People were just
Oh.
like they just did not believe in it, and I was young enough to not care. So
Yeah, same here.
I really went into that movie not really like pre-triggered or in any way, but I came out like completely like amazing. Mind you, that happened to us a lot back then.
He made it work. He made
Could have
it
been a mix of us being just kids, or it could just been so much good stuff was coming out.
Do you remember the avalanche of cheap merchandise that wasn't even licensed that would came out after
Yes.
that. Like you would
Oh.
you would go to the swap meet,
Yeah.
and you would find cheap, baseball caps with that logo
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
And it was everywhere.
Yes.
Everywhere. And I remember I was a sucker. Like I would have my parents buy me all that stuff.
I had a T-shirt.
I had the T-shirts. I
Yeah.
had the
T-shirt.
things.
T-shirts.
I would go to Taco Bell to get their Batman meal with the cup and the cinnamon twist with the Batman logo. on it and
Yeah,
all that.
it was like the frosted cup with the texture. It was
No, that's for
No,
Batman.
that's part
that's part
two.
two. That's for
Was
part
it?
two.
Really?
No. Wait.
Oh,
Part
no,
three.
no,
Part three.
that was
Batman
part-
Forever.
You're right. It is
Batman Forever.
It was Batman
Because I
Forever.
remember
Val
the
Kilmer.
Riddler handles,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That's for that one. For Taco Bell, they just had, it was just a big plastic cup with a Batmobile, the Batman, the actual font, that golden Batman there.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of purplish, and then it had some of them had the Batmobile, and some of them had the Batman in a weird pose.
So you know what? You're right. In 1989, there were
were the
these
plastic ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had the plastic.
Yeah, and
Those
so
are the ones, yeah.
Those cheap printable
Yeah.
plastic.
Yeah. Disposable.
So you know,
Collector's cups.
My butt. There, you can get them everywhere, dude. You buy bulk.
yeah. You know what? If you give me a moment, I'll try to put it up on the screen. But
But yeah, no, I remember the T-shirt. Yeah, the Swamis, dude. They had all the merchandise. Dude.
Yeah,
I didn't
dude.
care if it was fake. I didn't care if the shirt was itchy as hell.
Yeah,
Dude,
It-
hell no.
it-
I got a Batman shirt.
If
too.
you look closely, it didn't say Batman. It said
And it was a- and it was-
said Batman.
Yeah, and it was there was one shirt where it was rare to get, where it would be that faded Batman logo.
Oh yeah.
That
So there
one
they are.
was,
So what's interesting
that's the
about
one.
these
There we
cups,
go.
and these were from
Yeah.
Taco Bell,
there
1989.
you go.
What's
I
interesting
remember
about
those.
these cups is that like the poses are, you can tell, like the third one, right? The third one there, I recognize that pose, even though he's looking like, they try to make him look like the movie version. That's actually from a comic book, and the drawing is from Jim Aparo, and it's that same pose. He would always drop Batman with this sort of like leaning forward and like always like running action. And when Jim Aparo was asked about it, he said that he was inspired by Arthur Adams' version of like different superheroes. So he always wanted him to be in motion, like moving, like as if they're moving towards you. And that pose right there specifically, and also that first one, by the way, the one way on the left, also Jim Aparo, great artist, just amazing.
Well, if you look at the fourth one, it looks like you took it off.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Actually, the third one looks to me like when he's throwing the
batarang?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what you're right.
If you look at the fourth one, where he's running towards camera,
That's from the cartoon.
That's from the cartoon.
Yeah.
But they superimpose his head on there, so it looks Photoshop. Look at it. It's not even to scale with the rest of the body. Look at it.
And they did the exact same. They did the exact same pose for Batman Forever in the end. You know, when they're running.
When they're running to kiss from the rose on the green.
I liked Val Kilmer. Sorry, dude. If you guys didn't, I like Val Kilmer
No,
as
I
Batman.
did too. I liked him.
Except the nipple thing, you know. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
God, what's with the nipples on the suit?
You know what? I liked all the Batmans except for
George Clooney.
no, Christian Bale. I despise Christian Bale's Batman. I really, really despise his Bruce Wayne and Batman. Everything about his Batman, from the suit to him as Bruce Wayne to his chipmunk voice with the chipmunk cheeks with the like it was terrible. Like the rest of the Nolan Batman stuff was great, except for Batman himself. And I remember thinking that the whole time, like, I'm not a fan. I wasn't a
Well,
fan.
this Batman was more
I wasn't a fan of Heath Ledger.
modernized.
I wasn't a fan of Heath Ledger, but his performance was amazing. I just didn't like his costume choices because it just didn't seem Jokerish to me. But I saw what they were doing, and I loved it after the fact. But
What about
Bane?
what's his name? The new one. The new Batman. The Twilight dude.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
I was really excited for Robert Pattinson. Really excited because I do think he's a good actor, and I like some of the stuff he's been with outside of the Twilight stuff.
So emo.
And I was like, this is great. And I did like that, him being so emo. It makes sense for like the trauma that he went through and all that. I think that made sense. And I thought that was a great approach to it. My problem with that movie was the dialogue is horrendous and the suspension of disbelief has to be through the roof. Like the whole Alfred just getting a scratch on the face from a bomb explosion. Like that's just weird. And then there was just a lot of stuff that I was like, that was a bad choice. That was a bad choice. That was a worse choice. I did not like the Catwoman in it. And Riddler was so wrong.
So Zodiac.
No, it was not only just Zodiac. It was more like Hush.
Yeah.
It was not Riddler.
Riddle me this. It's like, no, that's
No.
nothing like that.
No, it was nothing. It was nothing like Riddler.
It was like a more psycho killer,
Riddler should have been more
serial killer.
like I don't know, Ziggy Stardust. Like he just over the top. Like that's
Well,
what
like
the
Jim
Riddler
Carrey.
is.
Jim Carrey, dude.
Jim Carrey was spot on, dude. Like
kicked ass.
I know Robin Williams was originally cast as
No way, really?
the Riddler. Yeah, he was
I wouldn't have
originally
been
cast
able to picture that.
as the Riddler, but he had to drop out for
Hook?
for casting. No, I don't know what
Peter
it was,
Pan.
but he had a problem with scheduling, so he couldn't do it. So he dropped out, and they gave it to Jim Carrey. But it was originally Damon Wayans as Robin, and
Oh my god.
and Robin Williams as
Riddler.
Riddler. Also, Billy D. Williams was supposed to come back as Two-Face.
Two-Face.
What
That's
would,
right.
would have been interesting is I would have dug a Robin Williams Riddler. I imagine that he would have made him way too much like the Joker, and that apparently that was always the problem with the Riddler, even in the '60s. In the '60s TV show, is that people were had a lot of trouble differentiating between the Riddler and the Joker, and even in the cartoons later, trying to introduce the Riddler into the cartoons was always difficult because writers, one, they have to, like, when you write for the Riddler, you have to make him very smart, you know, because essentially he is like supposed to be a bit, in essence, he's supposed to be smarter than Batman, or at least almost smarter than him,
Yeah.
because he creates all of these like intricate sort of traps. But what ends up happening is they take shortcuts and they just kind of make him a like Joker type character who's laughing at everything. So I imagine that Robin Williams would have injected that sort of energy, and it would have been interesting to see. But I wonder how that would have been written. It would have been curious. Like and just a little side note on the Riddler as a character. Do you remember in the I forget what that cartoon was? I think it was just called The Batman.
Yes.
It's the one where it had the Joker with the dreadlocks.
with the goth Riddler with the long like Marilyn Manson type.
Yeah.
character. I love that one.
It's a great cartoon. And what happened was initially the Riddler was written as a different character who they did actually introduce later on, but not as the Riddler. He was the way the at the time the writers for that cartoon introduced the Riddler, at least the way they had pitched him was to be like this kind of overweight basement dweller kind of guy who, you know, the guy, you know, like the comic book guy from The Simpsons who, you know, thinks he knows everything and is smart enough that he can be dangerous, but dumb enough that he was never going to get away with it.
Yeah.
And so they introduced him as this sort of like slovenly kind of character, and the concept art of it looks amazing. I think it would have been a really interesting take on the Riddler, because the writers felt like we don't know how to make this guy work. So DC came back and said, nope, don't do that. We want you guys to go back to drawing board. So they did. They went back and created a different Riddler that was kind of more in line with what comic books had already done. And it was a cool character too, because you remember the Riddler, there was only a few episodes that they ever used the Riddler because, again,
Yeah.
he was a hard character to write for.
Yeah.
Like the Joker's easy, man. You just make him go nuts and crazy, and he's just kind of funny and psychotic, and you just sort of like have your mouth open through the whole thing. But the Riddler's a guy who you're supposed to believe is smarter. I think it's why he works so well in the video games. So now I'm going on a tangent, so I'm going to stop talking. But I think the Riddler's is a cool character. Would have loved to see Robin Williams.
But do you agree with me with the fact that it was miswritten for the Batman? The actual new, but the Batman. I mean, no,
Yes.
no offense.
Okay.
No
Yes.
offense. No offense to Paul Dano. Great actor.
Yes.
The
and
Mask.
I think he was great. I think it was a great villain. I just don't think that was Riddler. They
What?
should have been something else. I would have been more like, okay, if it was Hush.
By the way, this is how my brain works, because what a potentially great segue I could have done, and I completely missed your point. So I'm so sorry. I'm dumb. So, anyways, yes, I agree with you, sir. I agree with you. Here's the thing, though. I really like the idea that they were trying to sort of like make something different from him. And let's admit, serial killers are scary. Real
Yeah,
life,
they are.
They're
Yeah.
scary, and the reason why they're scary to us, one, is because they could be anybody, and two, because there's always a kind of this inherent sort of perception of genius that serial killers have. It's why we're so fascinated by them. Besides all the nasty, gruesome stuff, we always think that there's like a lot more intricacy. Think of the BTK killer, for example. I mean, that
Yeah.
guy got away for years because there was a little bit of inherent cleverness in what he did. Although he was ultimately stupid because he got caught for the dumbest reason, right?
The email, right?
Yeah, you got it.
It's that validation thing that they always have
Yes,
for some
sir.
reason, and that it always seems to be their downfall.
Now, here's the best part. And you just touched on why the Riddler as a potential serial killer should have worked. Because what does Riddler want, man?
Validation.
He wants validation. In every comic book, his whole thing is about, I need Batman to recognize my genius. And, you know, Angel, you could have disconnected the whole thing. I would have been fine with it.
I didn't want to do that.
Oh man, it would have been great. So anyway, so you know, the Riddler as a psychopathic kind of guy who wants validation sort of makes sense to me. So I don't necessarily hate the Batman.
I mean, they threw. A
I don't
few,
hate it.
They threw a few funny Riddler, like when they're looking for the something to decipher the whatever code, and they go into the car and they find a thumb with a drive, and it's
Thumb drive.
thumb
Yeah.
drive.
Yeah, that was
Like,
pretty
dude.
funny. I just
Threw the funny things here and there.
I just wasn't a big I just wasn't a big fan of the whole. The dialogue was bad.
Yeah,
The choices that the director.
Penguin was all right. I mean,
I liked Penguin. I liked his approach.
Penguin,
I totally
but-
forgot he was in the movie, dude.
Yeah.
I totally forgot he was in the movie. I like that Penguin. I mean, I prefer Danny DeVito's over the top mutant, but the Penguin that
I like the
Colin Farrell
show
did?
actually. I like the series. It was they kind of mixed it.
the Penguin. I didn't see it.
Dude, I recommend it.
You know why I didn't see it?
He kicked ass.
You know why I didn't see it? I didn't see it because I was so disappointed with the Batman.
Yeah.
That I'm like, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see it because I'm actually excited for the Batman too. I'm there for that. But
They connected well.
you know, now that I'm talking
can-
about it out loud, though,
They connect.
I don't think there is such a thing as a perfect Batman film. I haven't. Every single one has something that I don't like.
I have a question for you about the current Batman movie. I like it, but I also don't, and I really can't put my finger on it. I don't know what it is about the movie that, like, I enjoyed it when I watched it. I'm not super excited to go back into that world, and I don't know why. There's like a lot of things I can sort of point to, but at the same time, I don't know why. Why do you think that is? I don't know.
Maybe an oversaturation.
It also depends on
of it.
we've gone through how many Batmans.
Yeah, and
Now let's tell our kids what do you guys think of their Batman is this dude now,
I don't know. I have never really asked,
and
but
that's just the thing, you know. Now you'll never hear them talk about, oh man, Michael Keaton was a bomb, because they probably won't go that far back.
no, they won't.
They'll
But
go to as far as, oh well, maybe they'll go as far as Christian Bale, you know.
They'll go Christian Bale.
Oh,
Probably.
Christian Bale was a bomb, you know, like, oh, if you only knew.
Well, for me, the Batman
No,
will always be Kevin
they would-
Conroy.
I'm sorry, they would not say that Christian Bale's the bomb. That would be like Christian Bale fire.
Oh, dude, who knows?
And fire.
My son
Fire.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Lit.
It's fire. Oh jeez.
I mean, it's not like our slang was any better, though. I mean,
No.
You know,
It wasn't. I was just making fun of it because it's a different generation.
sure. I will say that for whenever I think of what my Batman was, it was Kevin Conroy.
I
And
agree.
it was, and while
He is the best Batman.
Michael Keaton is definitely somebody
Animation
who I hold
series?
on to, but Kevin Conroy's voice.
Animation, man, that was.
Bruce Timm was amazing.
Whenever I read Batman comic books, I always, with only one exception, I always hear Kevin Conroy's voice in my head as I read Batman as a comic
That's
book.
true.
The exception being The Dark Knight Returns, the one from the 80s. Whenever I see that, I don't know that I know any actor that embodies that character, but I hear this kind of like different voice for that Batman.
You know who I hear, and it's also Bruce Timm's fault. What's his name? Actor. He was huge in the '80s. Played RoboCop. Peter Wellers.
Oh, Peter
Yeah,
Weller,
Peter Wellers.
Peter Wellers. That's who I hear as The Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
Because when they did the Bruce Timm one, it was Peter Wellers. So
Yeah, you're
for me,
right.
that's the voice that I
That
hear.
is
when I
the
hear
voice.
it.
Well, let me ask you this: the one, you know, the animated movie that they made of it, was that Michael Ironside who they used?
It was
for
Michael
that?
Ironside.
and his voice was great.
It was great.
It was great, but I don't hold on to it.
No,
but it was great.
I don't either. Mine is Peter.
You know where
Wellers.
was a failure though? That Joker from that cartoon. I was not, the guy who came out in Person of Interest and Lost. I like that actor.
Yeah.
I did not like him as a Joker.
Yeah, he's better as
Hamill
Riddler,
is
probably.
the Joker for me.
Everybody, man.
Oh yeah,
Hamill.
Hamill.
Dude,
but,
that
but
laugh, bro.
even from the cartoon, the Batman. What was his name? Kevin Michael Richardson? No, what's his name? The guy who did the dreadlocks Joker. I think he was a good Joker.
He was. That was a fun character.
I never
think
saw
that
that.
was
No, okay. Maybe unpopular opinion. You probably don't know who I'm talking about, but I think John DiMaggio's Joker
Yes,
was one of the best.
John DiMaggio does a great.
If Mark Hamill, which he did retire, but he
Joker did he
comes out. He did the Joker in the Red Hood cartoon
Yeah.
movie, and it was amazing. One of my favorite lines is, it's towards the end of the movie. And again, forget your spoilers, man. Live grenade. Anyways, the Joker is being held by the Red Hood, who turns out to be Jason Todd, and he has a gun to his head. And the Batman is there, like in a Mexican standoff. And the thing is, Batman doesn't kill, right? And so now he's being challenged by his former, boy wonder. Like, I need you to choose, Batman, either between this scum who killed me and took me away from you, or choose me or him, is what he's saying. And Batman is like, I can't, because if I do it, I'm no better than the Joker, and it's a slippery slope. And then the Joker just sitting there, and he's just looking at everything going on, this big smile on his face. And the best line he says, "Oh, take a picture. First, take one of me and him. Take one of you two, and then one with the crowbar." I love that, and I crack up with it. And the way that John DiMaggio, the guy who does Jake the dog, when he delivers that, I'm just like, oh, that's chef's kiss. It's great.
No,
it's great.
Your DiMaggio is Jake the dog, but for me, he will always be Bender.
Yes, sir.
And he'll always be Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War.
Yes, and I'm so glad that they're actually making a movie of that. Are you excited for that?
I'm excited for that.
Of what?
Of Gears of War.
They're finally making it.
Is it a movie or a TV series?
It's a movie. Last I heard, no.
Cool.
I think they're going to do a small.
I
think they're also doing a limited series, but they're doing a movie first.
Now, we were talking about different voices and different characters, but let me ask you this: like, the Punisher is a really good example of a character that I feel like has been captured very well by different actors. I don't really dislike any version of the Punisher from the 80s all the way to
I don't
current
either.
one.
Every single one was great.
My three favorites are Dolph Lundgren, who was the original live action. The only problem was he never wore the skull. Do you remember in the comic book? Did you ever read the comic book adaptation of the 1980s movie?
War Journal?
Yeah, and what's it called? War
Journal.
Okay, so in the movie, he never wears like the skull, but like on the knife, you have the skull logo,
Which was awesome because they
Now-
carried a bunch of them and they all had the skull
Yes,
logo.
sir.
That was
Really?
badass. Yeah, that was awesome.
But in the cartoon,
This one right here.
I'm sorry, in the comic book, there is a panel that apparently was taken out from a cut scene of the or concept of the movie, in which he gets a bulletproof vest and he spray paints the logo on there and puts it on and wears it. But that's only in the comic book adaptation of the Punisher,
Right.
1980s movie. I love that in the later versions of the movies, they adopted that idea of the spray painted one on, because John Bernthal in the middle, I think, was an incredible Punisher. But dude,
I liked him.
But underrated though, I forget what the actor's name, and the one he's the guy right next to him. He was an amazing Punisher in that movie, dude. Like the gore factor in that movie was just epic.
Two things I got to say real quick about the Punisher. One, have not seen John Bernthal's version at all.
Really, none of the Netflix. I'm so sorry to hear that. So does that mean that you didn't watch Daredevil?
I watched the first 2 seasons of Daredevil.
Yikes. Don't be proud of that, man.
And I got bored.
Don't be proud of no. You know what? You're bored because you're a boring person.
I did like Jessica Jones. I think that series was amazing. I did watch Luke Cage, and I did like Luke Cage.
Great. They're all great, but
I did not watch Iron Fist.
No.
Because it just looked stupid. Like, it just looked like bad casting. And then I watched Defenders because I never finished Daredevil. And I really don't care about Daredevil. Sorry. Like, at all. And that's one. So I got to say that. 2, you're missing Thomas Jane.
No, that's on purpose. He's forgettable. No, I'm kidding. No, I couldn't find a good picture of him.
Oh, okay.
But you know what? Okay. First of all, friendship over, you piece of shit. And secondly, like, really, dude, you were bored? Like, what? This is like, dude. Okay, I have the question I need to ask you. Were you drinking soda?
Look, you're the diabetic.
Were you eating popcorn?
You're the diabetic one. Why do you keep
Bro,
projecting on
I am
me,
so
dude?
sorry, but I'm 100% certain that when you watched that, you were in a diabetic coma yourself. Because what the actual F, man?
I've never been a Daredevil fan. I've never really cared for the character. The only thing that I find interesting about the Daredevil is that it spawned the Ninja Turtles. That's the only thing I care about. Other than that, I've never liked Matt Murdock. Nothing about him is interesting. That whole street level thing was just not interesting.
You know,
on the other hand,
I never seen
I
anyone.
I did follow the Punisher comic book, and I love the Punisher comic book. And
Who didn't? It's
I've
great.
seen all of them. I just haven't seen him because
Ben
it's
Affleck
just
was good.
kinda kid.
Ben Affleck.
That's Daredevil, dude.
It's Daredevil. Actually, you know, I kind of like that movie too. I'm sorry.
you know
I
what?
can't go back to it anymore though because it doesn't stand up. But at the time, I loved it. I still like the idea of like the Daredevil, Ben Affleck. I kind of liked it. I thought it was all right.
I agree with Enrique on that one. Daredevil was okay. That movie was okay.
The biggest flaw in that is that they were trying to make it too much like Spider-Man because Spider-Man was the shit.
Yeah.
At the time, the John Raimi Spider-Man. But okay.
Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi, thank you. I'm thinking John Berthal, and it's. Anyways, listen, dude. You, my friend, need to like try again. Okay, try again. Go back because you're missing out on a great Punisher. Okay. My goodness. And then second thing, dude, like, okay, so the Daredevil, Ben Affleck, you know, interesting segue here because I know we only got a few minutes left, but earlier, Robert had mentioned that they didn't show the ooze and the Ninja Turtles. In fact, they did.
They did in part
So
two.
What
remind me of the
is it called?
acronym,
Secret of the Ooze.
TGRI, is it right? TGRI, is that what the what's that on the canister?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the canister, TGRI, there's a scene in the original Ninja Turtles movie in which you can see when
Canisters on the floor.
and Splinter's narrating how they were made. Well, in the comic book, there's a sequence where you see like a truck, veer and almost hit a kid, and then the canister falls down, and it turns out that it's the same chemical, the same scene as the one that made the Daredevil as a kid, gave him his super senses. So essentially, the Daredevil. And the Ninja Turtles all came from the same, origin.
That's why I mentioned that.
Which is
earlier.
interesting. I
That's
know.
why
I like
mentioned
that.
earlier. Also another little fun fact. Okay, so in Daredevil, he had his main villains were called what?
Bullseye.
No. The
main villain?
the ninjas, the clan.
Oh, the Foot Clan. The hand.
The hand.
Yes.
Oh, so now
Ipso facto, the Ninja Turtles
Good
had
point.
the
Good
Foot
point.
Clan.
It's so funny how like it's one of those things that's like really no pun intended, right in your face. But I'm still amazed by that. That's a great trivia piece. I didn't know that,
Yeah.
or I did know that, but I didn't. It's
You
great.
forgot it.
I never
Yeah.
thought about that.
Yeah, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, they really were huge fans of Daredevil, and that's where they got it from.
Dude, something just happened to me right now, and I just figured it out. What was the mentor's name of Daredevil?
Yeah.
Stick.
Yeah.
What is the name of like the sensei of the turtles? Splinter. What the?
Yeah.
What? I cannot believe that.
All right, now
I
what-
just
what
figured
about
that out
Shredder?
right
What is-
now on my own.
Was a
I'm so
connection-
dumb.
Was a connection with Shredder.
Shredder.
There is none.
I think at that one there was none. There was
That
none.
would have been funny. If there was
There would be. I mean,
Mr. Knives.
Oh my gosh, but that's great. I did not figure that out until this very second.
Yeah, they were huge
great.
Daredevil fans. So there's a lot of
Oh,
stuff.
man.
I know there's more.
There has to be
There's
more.
there's a lot more.
Great Splinter
'Cause
and Stick. That's hilarious.
You gotta also remember.
Well done, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. Well done.
You gotta remember Eastman and Laird, like they were outsiders who actually made their own comic.
Yes,
book.
they did.
Like they got loans and stuff to make this limited run of printed things.
Mm-hmm.
So they were spoofing on their favorite, which was Daredevil. So that's what was added on there. That's why also it was in black and white because they couldn't afford color.
Yeah.
But
Great stuff.
good stuff.
Wow, dude.
But yeah, Thomas Jane is missing from there. Yeah, I agree. All of these are great. I mean, I haven't seen him, but I'm a big fan. That's what.
That's the equivalent of me like showing you the dead head of the enemy of our show today.
We vanquished the villain.
We did.
Dude, this is pretty cool. I like it.
It is. Yeah, there's a lot of cool options on it, and it's a. Oh, I turned. Unfortunately, here's the biggest flaw: there is no internal battery. You have to have it connected to a wire.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo thought of everything and nothing at all.
How much is that?
I got it at the time $100. I don't know if it's cheaper now or if it's more. I have
Probably
no
more
idea.
expensive with the tariffs. But I do need an alarm because like I've noticed that the iPhones are not really like reliable. Sometimes
Get
it's in
that.
here and somewhere.
What's so cool about it is that it
I
has a
got
lot
one
of
now.
different Nintendo. You have one?
No, now I do.
Oh, yeah, over my dead body. So the thing, there's a lot of cool themes on it, like Zelda, Mario, and
Oh, so it's
Splatoon,
not just
and
Mario, then.
they keep on updating them. There's music attached to it, sound effects. It's pretty great.
The name Alarmo.
Alarmo, yeah, Nintendo and their phrasing. It's pretty great. Did it turn on?
Yeah, it turned on.
Awesome. Yeah. And dude, like you can upload different songs to it. I just kind of wish for the $100 that there was more you could do with the screen. I'm going to look into some jailbreaking. I think there might be some
might be some
jailbreaking
jailbreaking?
stuff on it. I think so. I mean, I would imagine so. Can you
That looks
imagine if you can
dope,
hear
man.
music of like different Nintendo games on it? That'd be
great.
incredible.
Put some F-Zero on there.
Yeah, man. I would love that.
Dr. Mario.
That would be great.
Dun, 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 dun.
I could do a whole episode on just Nintendo video game music in general. Like my memories are all like super attached to video game music.
I think I mentioned this on the show before, but one thing that always bugged me was the Amiibos. I think were really badly named. I think they should have called Amigos because not only are your friends, Spanish but Amigos as in go, you take it with you.
That's true.
I think-
That would have been a great name.
I think that would have been better.
I wonder why not. But what is an amiibo? I think amiibo actually means something. By the way, I do think it means something like not similar to go, but to friend. I think.
Yeah.
I think, but I don't know. What do I know?
Anyway, on that note, thank you for joining us on this wonderful episode. Hopefully it goes well.
Man, it could have kept going.
Yeah.
It could. There's so many movies.
Really.
Well, we only like talked like 4 or 5, but honestly, when we didn't talk about GI Joe, we certainly didn't talk about Thundercats enough,
Transformers.
or
No,
Silver
Transformers.
Hawks.
About Transformers.
There's just such a great list of cartoons that I would love at some point to talk about because it'd be great.
GoBots.
That the Kmart Transformers, yeah, piece of. Although GoBots came out first,
Yeah. Isn't that shocking?
it
though?
is shocking. Yeah.
Exo Squad. Well, that was my.
I love Exo Squad.
I had 2
the
Exo Squad figures.
were amazing.
Hell
and
yeah.
the story was amazing. It reminded me a lot of Macros. Robotech. It reminded me a lot of Robotech. Cross between that and Voltron for some odd reason. But I love.
Dude, I
Exo
had
Squad.
the Voltron Metal Edition.
Yeah, the Go Lion.
Dude,
Yeah, I had
the whole
that.
Transformer.
Yeah.
And they were the die-cast metal ones.
Yeah,
Dude, how much?
I had the
those were
match.
now?
I have still the Matchbox Lions. The ones where you actually put like they were really overbulking, ugly.
Yep.
But you would put the figures inside.
Yeah.
Those are ugly. Yeah,
They're very ugly.
I regret not holding on to my Voltron. I had different versions of it, and now I've been wanting to rebuy them. And over the past 15 years, I skipped out on rebuying them when they were still relatively cheap, like around $80-$90. And
Now,
now
forget
you
it.
cannot get them under $300 to $400.
Yeah,
even for the Taiwanese versions.
The Go
from-
Lions.
It's so
Yeah, it's
sad,
crazy.
and I miss them. I
Actually,
would love to have
that's
them.
that's one that they made, right?
They remade for
Voltron.
Netflix. Voltron. Actually, they did it. They did
With
it
Henry
twi-
Cavill?
They did it 3 times, and they're gonna make it into a movie. Yeah, they made
Supposedly
it 3
movie, yeah.
times. Yeah.
Well, supposedly
They
it already
did-
stopped filming.
They
They're done
did.
filming.
What is it
Australia.
called?
Really?
Yeah, Australia.
Wow, we should have jumped into that one. I want to hear more. But go on.
They did Voltron V Force or F Force, something like that.
All right, in the 90s or late 90s, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
they did,
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it.
Voltron Galaxy Defender, which was
My
another
gosh,
one.
too many different.
There's a CGI one. It was
versions,
pretty good.
huh?
Was
and
it
then and then they did a Netflix one by the people that did
Now,
Avatar.
the
which was
Netflix one is amazing.
It's amazing.
That's the one. That's my point of reference because what they did was they really took all the lore, they took it seriously, they consolidated and created this whole new vibe out of it that I would love to see dramatized. I think because what's so interesting about Voltron was that the original storyline from Japan was so different from what we got in America.
so dark.
Right. And so the Netflix version, I think, kind of took the best of both worlds. It took like sort of the vibrancy of like the 80s cartoon and mixed it in with the darkness of like the Japanese original lore and just made a great story. Like, man, from beginning to end and where it goes, I recommend it. Highly recommend watching it.
Yeah. So I mean, we should have done a deep dive on those kind of stuff.
We
later,
can.
but we'll do it later. But
We'll
anyway,
do it part 2.
We can.
part 2. But thank you so much for joining us. Robert, it's always a pleasure. I wish
Thanks,
you could
guys.
come on
Thanks,
more
guys.
often than you are part of the show, even though you're never here, you bastard.
Well, you guys never invite me, bastards.
We do invite you, but you're busy.
And then
Sorry, guys.
yeah, we're so inconsistent that I don't blame anybody.
I'll
Like,
get used to
there.
it. Anyways, Enrique,
Yes,
anything
sir.
to say?
No, just I'm glad we got to talk about some of this stuff.
Nothing to plug?
I cannot wait into the Punisher now. Plug your ass is what it is.
Oh.
Man. Butt plug. Fisto. Bringing it back.
It's a sickle.
It is a circle.
It's a sickle.
And a straight line
And a
into
big-
his butt.
It's a big sickle.
To his big butt is what it is.
It's a fisto sickle.
Like that. You just gotta like that. And then just like that. Yeah, sick bastard.
Someone needs to get laid. Robert, anything to add?
No, everything's good. Thank you guys for inviting me. Hopefully I can come back and we can
Please,
speak
dude.
more. There's so much stuff, so many topics that
Yeah.
I would want to, talk with you guys because, it's just a ton of things to talk about.
Nothing to plug?
No, just,
You want to go for second round?
No.
I got you. Let's go. Second plug.
no, I'm good. Everything's good, man. Thanks again for inviting me and hopefully I could come back again and talk more.
Talk more crap.
Talk more crap.
Talk more crap.
So next episode's going to be brought to you by Vaseline and Kaiser Permanente because he's going to need some of that removed.
Grinder. Enrique and his grinder. Okay, so thank you for joining us. That was another interesting episode. And remember, never make eye contact while eating a banana. Good night and peace and hair grease. Bye.